Assalamualaikum and hello everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for coming. I see that everyone is here, so let's start the meeting. We will start the meeting with Al-Fatihah. Amin. So there should be another member, Mr. Anas Abdul Malik from our sponsorship. Unfortunately, Mr. Anas will not be here today because he has an urgent matter to attend to in Kelantan. So, well, as you can see the agenda, we will be talking and discussing about how can our company assist elderly in facing challenging situation during the flood and COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Ms. Zulaikha, can you talk about minutes of our last meeting?
Sure. To begin, I would like to go through the minutes of our previous meeting, which was held on 4th January 2022, during our last meeting, and one of them, which is Mr. Ahmad Daniel.
Excuse me for interrupting, Mr. Chairman. May I have a word?
Yes, you can.
I think there is slight error in the spelling name of Mr. Ahmad Daniel's name. It should spell AHMAD DANIAL, but it's spelled with Muhammad Daniel. That's all from me.
Okay. Anybody else?
Excuse me. Sorry for interrupting. I think there is another one mistake in the date of meeting. It should be 4th January, not 14th January. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Ms. Zulaikha, can you take note of that? Thank you, Ms. Ainul and Ms. NURUL for highlighting the error. Okay, what's about the rest of the minutes?
All the minutes of the last meeting are fine.
Okay, thank you. Please take note, everyone. Is there anything else to be amended?
No.
Oh, okay. Alright. So if there are no more amendments, I hereby confirm the minutes of the last meeting.
I propose that the minutes of the last meeting be accepted.
I second the motion.
Okay, now let's move on item 2 on the agenda. Matters arising about our transportation. So, Mr. Mahi, would you like to brief us on that?
Yeah, sure, Mr. Chairman. Okay. So, older adults experience barriers to transportation. Actually, they may drive less frequently or not drive at all. They may lack access to a personal bicycle and therefore need to rely on family members and caregivers or public transportation service. Older adults may also experience physical challenges related to again such as visual and mobility impairments that impact their ability to drive or use public transportation service. A lack transportation impact health and well-being due to missed healthcare appointment. Low use of public transportation among older adults with mobility disabilities has been attributed to issues including difficulty walking, inaccessible bicycle and facilities. Okay, so restrict service, affordability and ability, and particularly in rural areas. So additionally, rural communities may lack public transportation.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Mr. Mahi, for enlightening us. I think I will give this part for you to handle it, and we will table this matter at the next meeting, okay?
Okay, sure.
So, next, if there is anything else, if there nothing else, let's move on to the next item on the agenda. As you know, we are planning to assist elderly in facing challenging situations during flood and COVID-19 pandemic. So, let me know your opinions and your action how to assist them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we all know, our country, Malaysia, has been experiencing a very challenging situation in recent years, including this year's. For example, pandemic COVID-19 has been affecting the country for 3 years. Floods occur every year and the economy has been in a downturn for several years. The situation had a significant impact on all groups, including the elderly, who require more attention from those around them. So, to assist the elderly, my idea is that our company gives sponsor a medical plan for them. What I mean is sponsor them with medical plan because many of elderly suffer from disease like diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure.
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand about your explanation. Can you repeat it back?
Okay, sorry, I'm probably not making myself clear. Okay, what I mean is medical plan is important to low income elderly people because they are in poor health that higher income elderly people and have few financial assets to draw on when faced with high medical costs. Poor health status, multiple chronic condition and functional limitations are all more prevalent among the low-income elderly population than among those with higher incomes. These conditions increase the need for an utilization of medical service, which in turn increase the out-of-pocket expense for cost sharing and uncover medical expense. So, we have to give sponsor medical plan to elderly such as low income elderly because we know they really need to make easier for them to receive any treatment and medication at any hospital at any time without worrying about any other issues. And we can collaborate with medical plan providers such as Pro BSN, AIA and Etika. Have I made that clear?
I suppose you are right, Miss Ainul. But let's look at it from another angle. In a difficult circumstance like the current one with the issue of the COVID-19 epidemic, floods and an economic downturn, medical plan is not the only thing that the elderly want. In reality, almost half of them already have their own medical plan by the time they reach that age. So, while a medical plan is vital, it is not the only thing we can do to assist the elderly, as some of them do not require it even when faced with a difficult scenario. In this challenging situation, I propose that our company provide counseling services to the elderly. When counseling services are introduced, elders may convey the key things they require, which can assist them in dealing with this difficult circumstance. As a result, we can recognize their requirements, know how to assist them, and ultimately provide for their needs. When confronted with this difficult scenario, everyone's requirements are certain to differ. Some of them require a medical plan in order to obtain treatment. Others require money in order to survive, and still others require support and advisors in order to alleviate stress, anxiety, and depression. As we know, not everyone dares to ask for something even if they really need something. For example, not all elderly fathers dare to ask for money to be donated to him to cover the treatment or basic needs of his children and wife. As a result, many of them decided to commit suicide because they were stressed about their own responsibilities in the face of this challenging situation. With counseling services, we can encourage these older people to express the problems and stress and concerns they face while facing this challenging situation. Next, we can find out firsthand what is causing them stress and continue to help provide what can help ease their burden. In this challenging situation, there will certainly be those who are saddened by the loss of either friends, parents, children, siblings, or property. With these counseling services, I am confident elderly can express all the grief and emotional confusion they get. After expressing it all, getting support and opinions from us, surely they will be easy to accept the fact and control their emotions. Therefore, I suggest our company to implement counseling services to elderly who face this situation Because with it, we can know every problem they face, what they need, and then provide needs that can ease their burden in facing this challenging situation. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, exactly, Miss Najwa. You have a very good point there. When we do a counseling service, we can identify their needs and we can know how to assist them financially. We cannot support them totally, but we can just assist them in financial. Financial support here means that we give them some money to help them in managing their life. For example, we give money for them to buy food and clothes. We can also provide a relief fund to help increase the amount of donation that will be given to them. Not only that, but we can also collaborate with any large NGO to raise funds to help those in need. As we know, this COVID season, many workers lost their job due to the economic downturn. So we can also provide a list of assistance provided by the government. For example, assistance from each state, assistance One Malaysia, assistance from the Love Community and others. We can help them by providing the forms that need to be filled out and manage the process. In this way, it can facilitate and lighten their load. Finally, we can find any sponsor necessities that would like to help family in need. For example, sponsoring electric goods, clothing, electronic device, and others. And all those necessities are needed by flood victims, are the most of their belongings were destroyed by flood. Then, with sponsor from certain parties, can help them a little bit. So that's all my idea. Thank you.
Okay, alright. Thank you for the opinion given. So, I see your point there, Miss Najwa. I think we will conclude that we will take Miss Najwa action. It is decided that Miss Najwa, you will lead the mission to help the list who are affected by the floods and COVID-19. Okay? Now, let's move to the another agenda. As we know, the flood disaster has already caused a lot of damage and it is large scale. So my point here is, how do we want to make sure which senior citizens or at the least are desperate and really need help? Can someone give some opinion and action, please?
Excuse me, I want to state my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, how about we post a survey to the specific location of the tragedy so we can know better who are desperately need help from us. By making a survey, it isn't necessarily use technologies to create surveys such as Google Form or filling names in online formal letters. Citizens don't have time to react for that, especially when they are currently in trouble for flood and pandemic COVID-19. So I suggest that we send some of our volunteers to go to the area and analyze the situation there. And then we also need to ask every volunteer of the family that at there, so it will reduce our time in noting the needed senior citizens for our help. By doing this, I believe we can use our manpower to collect more information about those victims and help them as soon as we can. Please consider my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So any other opinion?
Okay, can I add one more point?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So as you know, more and more seniors are living alone, away from family than ever before. I think the most urgent need is for the elderly who can work, who have to stay home all day. For them, desperately need help, and we can help them financially and emotionally. As well, for the first time, we can buy them a wheelchair. So they can work with that, and also senior citizens, they need proper medication to remain healthy. This begin with educate medical care such as doctors visits, dental care, food care, eye care, physical therapy, and psychiatric therapy if needed. If they need assistance with taking their pills or giving themselves shots of insulin, a home health nursing system may need to be added to their daily plan of care. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mahi and Ms. Zulaikha, on your actions. Okay, all of you have points, and I will make sure that we will proceed it as soon as possible. Is there any action? No? So then
No.
let's move to the last agenda in this meeting. Is there any other business to discuss? I suggest we go around the table. So Miss Ainul, do you have any other business?
I don't have nothing to say anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Miss Nurul.
No. I think everything has clear.
Okay. Mr. Mahi.
No, sir.
Okay. Miss ZULAIKHA.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Our last one, Miss NAJWA. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, Mr. Muhammad. I have been told that our company wants to channel aid for those affected by COVID-19, floods and economic downturn in Selangor. However, I have realized that there are some areas where we'll be unable to aid. For example, flood water levels in Shah Alam, Taman Seri Muda and Kelang are still dangerous. And as the problem spreads on social media, the chance of procuring and renting boats to give basic supplies to victims is very low. Then, for those affected by the COVID-19 virus, the risk of going to places where people are already infected is very high. Giving help to close contacts will also put our staff at risk of being infected with the virus. Therefore, we need to find a way to extend assistance to victims affected by COVID-19 without having to come face to face with them. The same goes for those affected by the economic downturn, such as the B40 group or those who have many dependents and low salaries. It is easy for us to provide basic needs or money for this group if they live in residential or urban areas. However, if these people live in a rural area, such as in the forest, then the risk is very high for us to extend assistance to them. For example, the indigenous people who live in the interior, the majority of their homes are in thick and narrow forests, so the journey becomes difficult because it is not possible to bring in a vehicle. From that, we are also likely to get lost, slip and fall because of the area and the road is slippery and deep. Therefore, we need to think of the best solution to help those who sit in the interior without risking our staff.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Najwa, for the response. So, if there are no more objections, we will drag this issue on the next meeting, and I will make sure that we will complete our meeting to accomplish our mission in order to help elderly in facing challenging situations. So, is there anything else?
No.
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 Alright. We can draw this meeting to a close for today. Can we schedule our meeting, please? Our next meeting?
Sure. Our next meeting will be in 1 week from now, which is on 28 January 2022.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Zulaikha. That's it then. Thank you for your attendance and participation. I declare this meeting closed. We will end our meeting today with tasbih kifarah on Suratul As.